topic is feminism. Couple of weeks back, I done a video with the title Feminism for Quick Learning. That video is intended for those who are preparing for interviews and vivas. One of my students requested me to do a video about feminism with more explanations. That's why I am doing this video. So, feminism. I think you are all familiar with the famous novel written by Virginia Woolf, and the novel's name is To the Lighthouse. In that novel, there is a character called Lily Briscoe, and she is an unmarried painter who struggles to overcome her insecurities. Another character in that particular novel, and that character's name is Mr. Tansley, and that particular person is the representative of Victorian patriarchal society. And that character tells that women cannot paint, women cannot write. That words reflect the very essence of feminism. Why? Then, what is feminism? Feminism is not a belief against men, nor women claims that they are superior than men. It is a fight that women fought against inequalities. It is a movement led by women for equal rights and opportunities just as men. These rights include social, political, and economic rights. There is a time where people believed that domestic sphere or domestic life is for women and public sphere or public life is for men. This belief exists nowadays also in some societies, but at that time this belief is very strong. Women denied voting rights and property rights. Whole society compelled women to live according to the whims and fancies of their husbands. Even husband has the right to torture women, and they have the right to sell their wife or women to another person. So feminism is a fight against these type of whims and fancies of patriarchal society. Features of feminism. First of all, they gave importance to equality. That is, women also have equal rights and opportunities just as men. As I mentioned to you earlier, there is a time where women denied voting rights, property rights, and even education rights too. Feminism is a revolt against this belief. Second feature is they redefined gender roles. Actually, these gender roles are predetermined. Women is trained to fit into those roles, such as the role of a mother or a daughter, like that. These roles are not natural and they are constructed by our patriarchal society. This society trained women to think, talk, and even act in such a way to fit that roles. Third feature is that they reconstructed culture. So, culture defined women as pure and weak, just as gender roles. Then they can't stand by their own. They are always weak and always dependent. They are only ornaments to the family, so they can't stand alone. That particular thing is restructured or redefined by feminist theory. Another important point is that they reconstructed the literature. Why? Because literature is the reflection of society. And you can see that our literature is phallocentric. Phallocentric means it is centered on men and their superiority. This literature naturalized the oppression of women. It is their duty to face all these oppressions because they are the weaker class, so they have to face all these oppressions. Then they portrayed women as weak, then they are portrayed as sexual objects or procreative devices, such that in all the novels or drama or like that, we can see some characters, some stereotype characters are they always repeat women as weak, women as pure, then women are dependent, like that. Next is beginning of feminism. Of course, The beginning of feminism can be traced back to the works of Jane Austen. While reading, we cannot feel that her works reflects feminist ideas, but at a deeper level meaning or deeper level reading, we can understand it reflects some important feminist ideas. Another important work is Mary Wollstonecraft's famous work Vindications of the Right of Women, which was published in 1792. And in this work, there is an important concept. She introduced that she she urged or she recommended to the whole society to give education to women. And she criticized those writers such as Milton, Pope, and Rousseau who denied women education. And she tells that women are not weaker than men. And if you feel them as weaker race, it's mainly because of the lack of education. And this lack of education uh, allowed them, or this lack of education placed them into a secondary position. And she proposed that women must be treated as equal, just like men, because women play a crucial role in the society and in the family. They should be treated as companions, not merely as wife. History of feminism. The term feminism is coined by a French philosopher called Charles Fourier in 1837. He's a famous French philosopher and he rejected the ideas of patriarchal society. Waves of feminism. First wave of feminism started with 1809 movement for married women property right in US. This wave focused mainly on equality, voting rights and property rights because these rights are denied to women at that time. It was a struggle for their existence. Important works of this wave are first work is J.S. Mill's The Subjection of Women. This work highlights social inequality. She argued legal and social equality between men and women. She also attacked the concept reflected in our works or reflected in our society that weaker female and stronger female. Second important writer is Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf argued against patriarchal education systems. She is one of the first writers to develop a women centered notion. Her famous work, A Room of One's Own, shows how patriarchy prevented women from creativity. She also explains about Judith Shakespeare and tells us that if Shakespeare had a sister, she will not become so famous just as Shakespeare because of the influence of patriarchal society. Another important work of this wave is Simon de Beauvoir's Second Sex. In that work, there is a famous quote: "One is not born a woman, but becomes one." She tells us that an important concept that is othering, other. She tells that mystification and stereotyping are the instruments for creating patriarchy. Women are defined as the other throughout the history. Men are always considered as ideal, but women are always dependent to men. They constructed women as inferior or dependent to men. And women are always measured with the standards of men. In most of the works, man is the subject and woman is the so called other. It is based on the myth that women are inferior than men. There is no true essence of a woman or a true character of a woman in any work of art of that ages. Women is constructed as such by men and society. And she proposes through this work that women must take care of or take charge of their own choices instead of being negative, inferior, or other. They must become subject in their own that and that is that particular thing is her right to becoming a subject in the work of art as the right of women. Next is second wave of feminism, which is from 1960 to 1980s. And in this wave, female or women engaged more in political debates. They concentrated more on sexist attitudes of patriarchy or sexist attitudes in institutions, then equality of work, etc. Then this movement reflected through journals or publishing houses or academic disciplines, especially by women. They began to publish a lot of journals, articles, etc., related to feminism. Important works of this wave are Mary Ellman's Thinking About Woman, Kate Millett's Sexual Politics, Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique, etc. Third wave of feminism, it emerged after 1990s and they borrowed the ideas from post-structuralist theories and gender and race theories. They handled major issues such as violence against women, reproductive rights, social classes, transgender rights, sexual liberation, etc. This third wave of feminism is known as New Feminism in Europe and the Gulf Feminism in America. This phase of feminism, they handled more about violence against women than about women trafficking, about body surgery, than self mutilation or considering women as sexual objects in medias, etc. They tried to stop victimization of women and they want to liberate women from uh, such so-called bondages. Natasha Walter's New Feminism, Judith Butler's Gender Trouble, etc. are important works of this phase. Fourth wave of feminism. This fourth wave of feminism refers to a kind of feminism began around 2012 and this wave it focused mainly on the use of social media. How women is portrayed through the social media is the main focus. Then about street and workplace harassment, campus sexual assault, rape culture, etc. are also focused by fourth wave feminists. Hope you like this video. Please share, subscribe and like.